Hello.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Barnard Babble, the podcast about things and stuff.
Everything, things, and things. Welcome.
And in between.
I'm Erica.
I'm Justin.
And we hope everyone had a wonderful week.
Oh, yes.
Our week was pretty good.
Happy Halloween.
The only thing that I'm really sad about that has not happened this week.
Oh, no.
Is carving pumpkins.
Well, baby, we have what? 8 days?
We've got a couple more days till Halloween.
Plenty of time for pumpkin carving.
And let me just explain to you why it's important to me.
Okay, go ahead, baby.
Because the children will never know that this is a welcoming space.
You're right.
On Halloween night, unless there are jack-o'-lanterns out on the porch.
We have what do you call it? Like a Halloween wreath decoration on our door?
That's it.
And that's not enough.
And it's faded from the sun. It's not bright anymore.
It's faded from the sun.
And I need the children to follow the beacon.
Listen, guys.
They need to follow the light to the trees.
How many years have we been in this house? This is the third year, fourth year?
Third or fourth, something like that.
Anyway, we've only had one trick-or-treater in that time.
God bless
We were streaming last year on Barnard Babble .twitch.tv.
Something like that. Reverse, yes.
Anyway.
Reverse it. We streamed last Halloween, yes.
And while we were streaming, we heard, was it a knock or a doorbell? Something.
Doorbell.
Yeah. And then Erica jumped to say, oh, my time is now.
I've been waiting like 2-3 years because one of my dreams as a homeowner was I want to give out candy on Halloween.
As you should. Yeah.
Like, I love Halloween. If you've been keeping up with the podcast, y'all already know.
Yeah, it's not a shocker to you.
It goes Christmas, Halloween, okay? Yeah. That's the order. And so I love it. And
she ran. I've never seen her move so quick.
As a child, I loved trick-or-treating anyway. So I could not wait to give back. To pay forward, to do my due diligence as an adult and treat the children of the neighborhood.
And so Erica got out her roll of pennies and she threw them at the children.
And
she
apples
said,
and oranges.
Take my apples, take my pennies.
Dental floss.
Ugh. I was like, baby, we have this bag full of candy. Do you want to get this to them? And she was like, no, take my pennies.
I hate it when you would go through your candy at the end of the night and you'd find that lone mini toothbrush with a tiny toothpaste combo. And it was just like, get this out of here.
And you have to remember who gave that to you so you can go back later and,
smash their pumpkins?
Get your revenge.
Yeah.
Get your revenge.
Right. But no, I did run, and the kids already were, and their mom, they were down by the street already, leaving. And I screamed. I said, wait, come back.
No.
I have candy. And they turned around, and they did come back.
They turned around, they looked at Erica, and they ran home. They were afraid and scared.
It was so glorious. I will never forget that time. The neighborhood we currently live in now is a lot of retirees. There's a lot of
which I love.
A lot of olds in our neighborhood, which we do love. We never have to call the police for complaints of noise or anything like that.
Listen,
none of them talk to us. They don't bother us or anything.
As a young, I love being surrounded by olds.
I love it. I feel really kind of secure about it, tell you the truth.
Oh, I love it in every way possible.
Yep. They probably are peeking out their windows and, being nosy, but that's what you do when you've been in a house for 20 years. You want to see what's happening from the safety of your window.
Yeah. I understand. If I was, in my 60s and 70s and a young black couple moves across the street.
Oh, here we go.
Guess what I would do? I would be looking out the window.
There he is.
I understand.
Yep,
look, I'll be afraid of me if I didn't know me.
Okay.
If I saw me coming down the street, looking happy and jaunty, just like, la, 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 no one's going to bother me, I also would be afraid.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, so... episode 18, guys. We had to make sure we tell you the name of the number of the episode because if not, you'll be lost, you'll be confused, you'll be scared. It is episode 18. Thank you for being here, baby.
So this episode, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. We've been talking about a lot of Halloween movies, spooky movies, and things like that. But we are, first and foremost, I guess, video game streamers.
You sound very secure in this thought. I guess maybe we're like maybe.
Well, our start/bread and butter has been on Twitch, where we play video games of all kinds almost every night, you guys, 6:30 Central, twitch.tv/Barnard Babble,
there you go.
where you can
That's
come join us
earlier, right?
and talk to us in the chat whenever you want to. We'd love to have you. So we play a lot of video games. We love video games, grew up with video games. They're very special and dear to us. So we decided...
they're okay.
So we decided, hey, let's talk about some horror video games that have really touched us deep down in our shingles.
Shingles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and yeah. Oh, my shingles are scared.
Yes, deep down, in our gullets. I don't know, that have really
Stop saying body parts.
I feel like shingles is a disease,
shingles
right?
is, yeah. They've touched me
in our uvulas. They've really reached us in our uvulas over the years.
Okay.
So we figured this is what a perfect time to do it. I'm not a big horror game person. I did not grow up seeking out horror games or playing them.
Well, much like movies, you're not a big horror movie person, but there's a particular style that you do gravitate towards, and I feel like that style is more prevalent in movies than it is in games.
I like a cinematic game as well. So if you're going to mix horror and cinema together, then I'm probably going to have a good time. If the story's pretty good, if the characters are, let's just face it, cute, I'm really going to enjoy that as well. Not easy on the eyes, you guys.
You're part of the problem, baby.
So be it. I accept it. I accept my responsibility as part of the problem. I like an easy on the eye character, So yes, if those things are combined, or if they have a great voice, you guys. Because one of the protagonists in one of the games we're going to talk about, we don't see for a little bit.
Do we not?
No.
What are you talking about?
No. Okay. We don't see him.
I'm excited to find out what you're talking about. Okay.
And I don't even. Does he talk? Okay. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay.
So let's start off with the OG, though, y'all. The OG granddaddy. There were horror games before this game came out. Let's not get it twisted.
But this franchise is the gold standard.
Gold standard, set the rule. Once this dropped, it changed everything.
Silent Hill.
Oh.
Let's go. Pyramid Head. We got weird deformed nurses.
Okay.
We got creepy sirens. Silent Hill, y'all. Let's talk about it. So it all began in 1996.
Oh,
I don't know. Listen, the Silent Hill franchise, I don't know a lot about, so I ain't gonna speak on it. I did enjoy the little bit that I played of 3 and 4, but those games were too scary for me. Go ahead, call me a coward. It's true, but I never could play them very much. So one day with streaming. One day we will play those games because, part of a stream is playing games we never would have played before, including the Silent Hill franchise. So one day we will get to those, and I will be afraid. Anyway, no, the actual game we're talking about is, baby,
Resident Evil. Thank you for this. Yes, thank you for the journey we went
I got
on.
you. I got you.
Silent Hill journey. Thank you.
Yes, baby.
Resident Evil, you guys. Okay. Also known as Biohazard in Japan.
I wonder if, because I'm sure, like they're also called Biohazard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, because I wonder if even in Japan, if people are like, oh yeah, Resident Evil,
I would think they're aware of the American name more so than we are of the Japan
of the
Japanese name.
Yeah.
I would think so. What I also would love to hear is the first game, the intro. Or any of the game intros where they go Resident Evil, Biohazard. Is that what happened?
Yeah. So, I'm almost certain.
Same guy, even too. Maybe you think?
At least in the early ones. In the early ones, I'm pretty sure it was like Biohazard 4.
And I'm gonna just make the statement here that I think Resident Evil has a better
What are you gonna say?
Je ne sais quoi to it than
what?
Than Biohazard.
Oh,
it rolls off the tongue a little bit better to me. Resident Evil. I don't know.
I don't know why they changed it from Biohazard to Resident Evil. I'm sure there's some dumb legal reason as to why it changed over in America. Or maybe it was just like they didn't think it sounded as good. I wonder.
We should have did some research on that.
I mean, if you look, we're on episode 18. If there's one thing you know about this program, this show, is that we do not do a lot of research.
We do a little bit, y'all, but and that's a great question. Okay, if anyone's listening, you have the answer, let us know in the comments.
See, that's what it is. It's not that we don't do research. We just want y'all to educate us.
Participation
so we can talk to
is
you.
key here at
That's
Barnard
what it is.
Babble. Yeah.
That's what it is, yeah.
If you know why they call it biohazard in Japan, reach out, comment, subscribe. I don't know, y'all.
Yeah, subscribe to let us know, because otherwise, how will we find out?
We have no idea. Okay. So they released Resident Evil in 1996. All right. One of the best years ever. I would say 95 and 96.
You mean just in general for years?
Great years. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
I think good years for entertainment. There we go, everybody. That's what I'm
yeah, I mean, 1995 and 1996, I was, 5 and 6 years old. So those were good years of my life. I can agree and attest to that, yeah.
As far as entertainment goes, a lot of bangers came out. And those specifically 95.
I wish I could help you. I have no idea what came out.
Year of the bangers. Okay.
Give me one thing that came up besides
I think Jurassic Park.
Oh, there you go. Never mind.
There you go. Moving on. Moving on. Okay, so Resident Evil, you guys. Capcom, all right? Capcom. Let's give them their respects.
As you call them, Capcom.
Yes, as I respect them by their name. Okay. It originally was going to be a first-person shooter. All right. Let's imagine this. The very first Resident Evil, yes.
Oh,
but once they saw the game called Alone in the Dark, they decided to use a fixed camera system.
They're like, we could do that better.
Yeah, they saw that, so they weren't the first to do that fixed camera nonsense.
Yeah.
Tank control nonsense. They were not the first.
Yeah, Alone in the Dark is one of the true OGs,
right.
And that's why I guess Resident Evil decided to copy them and try to do it better. I never played Alone in the Dark. I've seen footage, and it also looks scary. I think it was more of like a psychological horror.
Does it take place in a mansion as well?
Yes, it does.
That's okay. I've seen the cover art.
Alone in the Dark. Developers maybe have some kind of case they could sue Resident Evil after all these years. Maybe they lost their chance to.
I don't know. I don't know if you own that. That would be
they own fixed camera angles.
Every game after Resident Evil 4 that did the behind the shoulder thing, then Resident Evil would have a case to sue them.
I'm just saying, Capcom should look into the legal options.
Something like that.
Yeah. Anyway.
So anyway, the awful tank controls, I call them awful because I never played this game when it originally came out. Did you?
They are bad. No. Well, yeah, that's a lie. I played the demo.
First of all, you were 6, so.
Well, okay. Yeah. I was, yes, I was a baby, but however old I was when I did eventually play something that was Resident Evil, I think must have been some kind of demo or something. Maybe went over a friend's house. Who knows? But those controls were terrible. And it was like before even anything scary happened, It was just me going like, I don't like this. This is hard for me. It
doesn't feel right.
It didn't feel right even back then. Because you play those games now and it's like, whoa, you got to put yourself in the right headspace to play those games.
Do.
But even back then when they were like fresh and new, as a wee lad, I still didn't like them. So
I will say that definitely the fixed camera makes it a lot more scarier.
It does. I get it.
100%, because you can't see what's going to be around the corner.
I totally get it now.
What's coming at you from a different angle. They took the control. There is no control.
Yeah.
You don't have the control for what you're going to see.
Yeah.
And that in itself is very unsettling and scary. And so, and of course, it totally worked. Game was a big success. They made a second one the year later. Resident Evil 2 came out one year
out that quick?
after the first one. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Because they were like, we've struck gold. Let's try and do it again, or whatever. And then, of course, Resident Evil 2 became the treasure that it is.
I'm going to say 2 is like 1 and 2 I feel like are pretty like, hey, these are both, people love these games, but 2 is like the game though, right?
2 is kind of the game because, first of all, they gave you the iconic Leon Kennedy.
Leon S. Kennedy.
Thank you. Leon S. Kennedy. We love our precious boy band boy.
Pop quiz. Leon. What does the S stand for, baby?
Sylvester.
Simon. One more. Give you one more.
Sarah.
Yep. Leon Sarah Kennedy.
Okay.
It's Scott. Leon Scott Kennedy.
Oh, of course it's Scott.
You know what?
What a good name for him.
And now that I've said it out loud, I'm only 90% sure that I'm right.
Oh, okay. But I really like that if his middle name is Scott.
Leon Scott Kennedy.
He seems like a Scott.
Yeah. Because Leon is a killer. He's killed plenty of zombies, maybe even a few, people who aren't zombies. So, you know the trope. You have, 2 first names? Or is it 3 first names that makes you a serial killer?
Oh, yes. Okay, I've heard
that. I guess
that.
Kennedy isn't really a first name, huh? It can be.
No, it's a last name.
That's a bit of a stretch,
like the Kennedys, it's a last name.
Yeah, okay. I guess Leon isn't a crazed murderer then.
Yeah,
Moving on.
No, but they gave us the iconic Leon, okay? Yeah. And they also gave us the iconic Claire. It's Claire, right?
Claire Redfield? Is she in the second one? Yeah, she is.
Yeah, okay.
I think you asked me.
I wasn't sure for 2 seconds, though, because I was like, wait, is her name Claire? I've been watching a lot of Resident Evil videos, and originally her name was not Claire.
What was it?
It was something else. Don't ask, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But they wanted her to be in that game or whatever because she tied it into the first game.
Sure.
Because Chris Redfield, of course, is in the first game. Yeah. So they were like, we need something to tie it all together. It's Chris's little sister.
This is Chris jacked
boulder
punching Chris. Gotcha.
Right, which was in the first one. So
what?
Chris is in the first game.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying he was punching boulders in the first game. I'm like, no, baby.
No, he was not. No. But people really liked that you could play as either one. It was essentially 2 games in one package, which is pretty freaking cool for, 1997 or whatever?
Yeah.
So you could play as Leon, you could play as Claire. Some things are very similar, but then there were some different little beats that would happen. It's pretty much the same tank controls and all of that. But I think they were able to tweak some of the environments and make things a little bit better. Have more zombies on the screen at one time.
Look, I didn't get into any of these games, mostly because I was young. If I was older back then, I'm sure if I was 10, 11, 12, 13, when these first games came out, I would have got into them. But I was too young. Even from back then, like I was playing games on my Sega Genesis and having a good old time, Yeah. I was playing Sonic and Vector Man. I wasn't playing Resident Evil. But I was still very much so a coward, if you can believe it, more so back then. I know it's hard to believe, but I didn't get into these games till 4. But we'll get there.
Okay, I was gonna ask, well, what was your first Resident Evil experience? But do you want to wait?
Well,
till we get closer to talk. We're almost to 4. I've got only a little bit to say about 3.
Did you even want to talk about 3?
Okay, here. I'll give my experience first. Then we'll go that.
Go ahead.
And I do want to say that Resident Evil, the original game, the first one, which has had a couple of remakes at this point. It's been on every platform known to man. It
really has.
It's the game of games. It was the first game to ever be first survival horror game.
Oh, that was the first game that actually had that title?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah. It started the survival horror genre and is continuing it to this day.
And the word survival really just comes from it being like you having minimal
resources,
right?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. It's got a 91% on Metacritic. Okay.
Let's good old Metacritic.
Game its flowers. Okay. It deserves its flowers. Yes. It deserves its roses.
It's hearty handshake and a pat on the back. Yep.
Right. If we could clap, we clap.
If we could clap?
Clapping for Resident Evil. Well, I don't want to clap on the mic.
Okay. I'm like, what you mean?
I don't want to clap
We have 2 hands. We can do this.
Okay. And that being said, all right. So my first experience with Resident Evil was very secondhand.
Yes.
Okay. What are we saying? Maybe 98?
Okay.
I think in 98 or 99. All right.
Those are also good years for entertainment.
Your girl was only playing Tomb Raider, Spyro, the Dragon.
Which those games have some horror elements too. Well, not Spyro, but Tomb Raider does.
The underwater level in Tomb Raider 2 is just the worst thing ever.
Tomb Raider walked so Resident Evil could run.
Good God. I still have flashbacks and fear. Anyway, yeah, my friend had just gotten Resident Evil 3, which was a lot of these first ones came out on the PlayStation 1, everybody. And I remember seeing it around town. I have vivid memories of the PlayStation magazine cover with Nemesis on it, like breaking through a brick wall. And Jill is like to the side. And I don't know if she's got her gun or if she's scared. But Jill is to the side. She's got her blue tank top thingy on and her skirt with her jacket tied around her waist. Her side part swoop.
Remember earlier, Erica was like, I play games for the cute characters.
I'm telling y'all.
Boom.
What more do you need? I like to be stimulated in that way.
I see. Oh, my.
So anyway, I was like, What's happening? Ooh, cute female protagonist in a video game. Ooh, oh, Nemesis. Look at his teeth. They're crazy.
But, so you knew it was a horror game.
I knew it was a scary horror game. And for that reason, I never picked it up. But I remember seeing that cover.
And for that reason, I'm out.
I'm out. But I would always pick up the magazine cover and look at it because I thought Jill was pretty and how dynamic and woo and spooky. And so my best friend, he ended up getting the game, y'all. Good, whatever. Who cares? Yay for you. I'm busy playing my games.
Sure, okay.
This guy would call me every day after school and just be like, I don't need you to say a word.
Oh.
Just be on the phone with me, please.
Be with me. Classic.
This game is very scary and it is scaring me to death.
Classic, yeah.
And I will be like, well, what's happening now? And he's like, I'm walking through these cars and they're on fire. And there's dogs coming. Oh my God, like freaking out. Going, ah! And I'm just sitting there being a supportive friend, like
on the phone, just to be clear, on the phone, yeah,
on the phone, and it would be like not talking and us just breathing, and he's playing the game, and he was so scared. Aww. He was just like, I can't play this by myself.
This would have been me though.
Yeah, he's like, I cannot do this, and he had a brother, but I don't know what his brother was doing.
He was like, get over it, loser.
His little brother, maybe his
little brother
wasn't allowed to be in there.
His little brother said, get over it, loser,
or something. I don't know, but I did feel it made me feel very good that he wanted me to be the support.
Oh, sure, baby.
While he was on
the third option,
playing his game. Third option. Thanks. Thanks. That's me. Third option, girl.
Oh,
yes.
Man. Oh, boy.
Anyway, that was my introduction to Resident Evil. Really, truly, and honestly.
Sure.
I had never played any of the games, but I had a friend who was into them, but also really scared of playing them. And I never really kept up with it until I met you.
That's me. I'm you.
And we ended up playing Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Which is, it needs really no introduction, you guys. But for those that are not familiar, Resident Evil 4 literally changed the game.
It did.
When it came to video games. And yes, in almost forget horror. Take it out. Throw it away. Just as far as video games are concerned, people look at Resident Evil 4 as one of the greatest games.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah.
Now, going back to it now, it maybe doesn't hold up as well. But just think about it in a time, what was it, 2004 or 5, I believe the year it came out?
I have this information, you guys.
Stall for time.
I have this information. Okay, wait, I have this information. I thought that I had it, and I don't. I know when the remake is coming out. Okay, I don't have it.
Wow. With fraud. Anyway, I believe it came out in 2004, y'all. I keep thinking that in my brain because Resident Evil 4 was my first, not just Resident Evil game, but kind of horror game, survival horror game, scary game. All of the above.
I have it.
What is it?
2005.
That don't feel right. Because I thought it was 14 when I played that mess.
2005.
What month? What month?
January 11th.
I was 14 because my birthday isn't until February. Okay. So that's why that's in my brain. Like, it's ingrained in me that I was 14 when I played it. Okay, so that's true. So, I was 14.
And this was your first real introduction to the series, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, but you were busy looking up stuff, so I don't blame you for not hearing that part.
Okay.
But yes, my first survival horror, my first scary game, all the above. It is one of my favorite games of all time. Now, I rented it from a little historical place called Movie Gallery. You've heard of a Blockbuster. You maybe haven't heard of a Movie Gallery. I don't know if they were everywhere. I think they were still pretty big.
They were.
It felt more like a South East Coast type place, but maybe not. Anyway, Movie Gallery. You used to have to get in your car, bum a ride, get on your bike, and go down to your local shop and go into a store and talk to people and look at stuff on a shelf, and be like, hey, do you have this game? Ugh. Yeah. And then if they did, or movie or game, whatever, but at a certain point, you could rent whole consoles. We never did do that, but which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but you could rent.
You could rent a console. Yeah. But anyway,
I forget how much that was.
We rented. Probably way too much. You know what it probably was? One of those where you rented it 3 times. You just could have bought the console. Probably.
Probably.
It felt like a scam. But anyway. I rented RE4 from Movie Gallery, I believe, 3 times, and I finally beat it.
Oh, renting it.
I rented it.
Which I was going to mention
on
that
on a good old GameCube.
These games they're they're hard but fair, I would say.
Yeah.
But the developers, especially like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, and they probably did this for 4. They were one of those, let's make it hard to discourage rentals.
Really?
Yeah, we want you to buy the game. We don't want you to rent it.
That's funny.
You know? So, because, you know, like The Lion King and like, there's all those notorious really hard games. They made them so hard because they didn't want you to rent them. They wanted you to buy them.
Yeah. Well, my 14-year-old self.
You powered through.
I powered through it. I was like, no. I spent, which I'm almost ashamed to say, over 40 hours playing that game.
It's not a 40-hour game?
It is not a 40-hour game. Okay. It is not an RPG length game. Listen, I just was struggling, and I had a hard time getting through it.
Well, hey, baby, you were 14.
14, and it was my first time playing, a scary game. But I keep saying it's a scary game. I'm just picturing my 14-year-old self saying it. Mm-hmm. This game's scary. And I would call friends to talk about the game. I would go online, or not online. What, 14? Was I going online at 14? I think I would look up like forums and boards. You might have been
in 2005. Yeah, I wasn't too much in 95, 96.
Oh, 2005. Yeah, I definitely was. I was on like Game Facts, which is like just like looking up people's walkthroughs and boards and like forums, just people talking about the game, and I was deep in it. And it took me a while to beat it. Like I said, 40 hours, but I enjoyed it. I was hooked. The gameplay was. I knew it was different from the other games. I knew some people didn't like that, but the majority of people loved it.
Right.
I was fully on board, and it started me playing a bunch of horror games. But even like thinking about it now, that style of RE4 is what I gravitate towards when I think about some of my other favorite horror games. But we'll get to those later.
Okay.
Yeah.
They still had the tank controls, but you could control the camera more.
I don't think
RE4, right?
I don't know if they were considered tank controls.
Well, they're not tank. Okay, you're right. But when you shoot, you cannot move.
No, yeah, there's still some limitations to.
You cannot move and shoot.
You can't aim and shoot. Yeah,
which was
and move and shoot. Yeah,
yeah. For me, I recently played the game last year. We played it on stream, you guys, and it was a
what?
It was a show. If you know what I'm saying. It was not. I did it. I got about halfway through, and then you took over the reins.
There were certain parts you were like a drunken master, just like dodging and weaving, and you were looking like you didn't know what you were doing, but you were still doing it. Yeah. I'm like, what is happening? How's she doing this?
It was a very chaotic playthrough of Resident Evil 4.
Look forward to that on our YouTube channel. I
fell in love.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. But to preface, we did play Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Yeah.
Before I laid eyes on Resident Evil 4. I'd always heard that it was the GOAT.
Oh, is that
everybody
what
loved RE4. Yes. So I had already fallen in love with Leon. Chef's kiss. We love him. We love a Leon. And his swoops. His hair swoops. We love him.
Where'd everybody go? Bingo?
Side part, middle part. I don't care. I love my Leon. Anyway, fell in love with him in RE2 Remake.
I'll just let you gush over Leon, baby. I'll back up.
Love this man. He's so corny. And
listen.
He's corny, but he gets stuff done. I love that.
I love a corny hero.
I love him. He has the best little one-liners. When he cusses, it's hilarious because you can tell he maybe doesn't cuss all the time.
I mean, like, the voice actor for Leon, they did a great job choosing him because it's like, in some ways, it was like, is he going for like a camp? Like, is he going for that camp corny?
Were they just like in the studio, listen,
yeah,
picture white bread. Okay?
Go on.
Picture flip-flops outside in the rain.
His natural voice is like, okay, go on.
Picture
Crocs?
mayonnaise sandwiches. Yeah. Now, we want you to embody this. Also, 90s boy band. Go. And he did it.
And he said, I've got it. And then he switched up his whole everything.
I've got it. Yeah. He's a wonderful character in the Resident Evil
What were we
world.
even talking about before this?
We're talking about Resident Evil 4.
Okay, I mean, it's okay.
That's what we're talking about. But yes, I got to actually play the game, experience the game, and I got the hype. It is a product of its time,
sure.
You know. But the visuals, it is the game brown. Everything's brown. I will say that it's brown.
I mean, like there's certain parts like there's like. When you get to the castle, there's a bit more variety.
There's some red.
There's some red.
Yeah. Red and brown the
there's
game.
There's some red. There's some flames, which I guess are red.
Yeah. Brown the game, y'all.
Yeah.
But I still loved it.
Listen.
Ashley, love her. A lot of people don't.
Leon.
She's great. You just make her go in the trash can, y'all. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, because like the game is essentially it becomes
an escort mission. Yeah.
But in that term, escort mission, if you don't know, is pretty notorious in games for being a horrible, horrible thing. You having to protect a character or a thing from getting hurt or whatever is usually terrible. It usually sucks.
Usually, yes.
In RE4, there are some moments where it is frustrating, but a lot of times they have a pretty simple but intuitive system where Leon will be like, "Wait, stop, come on, follow me."
Oh, I'll do anything he wants. Anything you say, Leon. You know who else I'd do anything for?
Who?
The merchant.
Oh yeah, the merchant is.
Oh my God.
What are you buying?
Oh, your heart.
Oh, I didn't know what I thought you said.
What are you selling? My heart.
My heart.
Yes, that's what I'm selling to you, Mr. Merchant. You can have everything you want from me.
Have me. What are you selling?
Him.
My wife.
I love him. He's great.
I mean, the game really nailed just about every element. The characters, the merchant, the inventory. People loved
the inventory.
People loved organizing their inventory.
Case.
It's a case. Your ammo, your weapons, your herbs.
It's its own game.
I mean, it sounds
Organizing
simple.
your case
was
is
very
its
fun.
own game. It's like, what's the game you like? Tetris.
What's the game I like? Yeah, I'm famously known as the only person who likes Tetris.
You only like Tetris. It's the game. It's like Tetris. It's beautiful. They put a mini game in the game by organizing your inventory.
The Mad Lads.
The Mad Lads. I mean, I love it. Okay, here's some more facts, you guys.
Oh.
We would not have the Devil May Cry series or Evil Within if it was not for Resident Evil 4.
At least, yeah.
At least.
Yeah. And
these were the games that were directly pretty much plucked from development from Resident Evil 4. The things that they were like, let's take that out of Resident Evil 4. That really doesn't work for this game.
Yeah.
And they said, but you know what it would work for? This new little thing we gonna call Devil May Cry, okay?
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because when I think about Devil May Cry for some reason feels older to me. Like it should have came out before RE4.
Okay, I see that.
Like when I think about Devil May Cry, I don't think about RE4.
I see that.
So anytime someone says it, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It just for some reason those don't line up to me because Devil May Cry is to me it's been around for so long, but I guess it really has been neck and neck with a bunch of the Resident Evil stuff. I mean, Devil May Cry is nowhere near as big as Resident Evil franchise, but I mean, like Resident Evil has spawned, to wrap up a little bit of this, like Resident Evil has spawned, God, how many games, baby?
Oh, I was looking that up.
30s.
I was looking that up right
40s.
now, honestly.
There's so many, like one of the newest games that came out was called Resident Evil Village, which technically is Resident Evil 8, but also technically it's not 8. It's more like 34. Like, because so many spinoffs and not including like ports.
Officially, there's 10 games. Is what they're saying.
Bull.
Yeah, but there's really
so many,
like 25.
Yeah, like Umbrella Chronicles.
There's a lot.
Yeah, like the Dead Aim series.
It's like a 24-year-old video game franchise at this point.
They've made a lot.
Like
I mean, and including the movies. I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen those
the movies.
Mila Jovovich movies. Yeah. I enjoyed the first one for what it was, even parts of that second one. I went in that theater and saw Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And even back then I was like, well, this kind of sucks, huh? And I just begrudgingly, sat through it, was like, oh, man. And then the rest of them are just kind of hard garbage.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I think a lot of people accepted what those movies were, and they just were like, look, they're dumb. They're nothing about the source
really
material.
Have nothing to do with the games at all.
And I think people just were along for the ride at a certain point, and they've made multiple. Maybe it's one TV show? I guess this is one TV show, right?
There's a new Netflix show that just came out and was canceled.
And wasn't there another one before
season 2 for them. I want to say yes, but I can't.
I want to say yes, but now I can't remember what. I can't remember if there actually was.
Yeah.
But I mean, that show came out, and I think what I'm thinking of is it was just another property that they didn't pull enough from the video games. It's like, how come y'all can't just set whatever movie or show in a mansion and have it go from there, play it more serious than these shows and movies have,
right?
And let's see where this goes, because people do like serious horror. Not saying that the Resident Evil games are serious, because if you played them or if you've seen a cutscene, you know they tried to be serious at some points, but just the actors they got, or just the dialogue didn't translate to being serious. Some of those old games,
right?
There's a lot of ridiculousness. But I don't know. I'm ready for a more like this is a serious Resident Evil movie or a serious Resident Evil show. Maybe that show, maybe parts of that show was serious.
Yes, it was.
It just wasn't enough of what it looked too different. Which I did not even want to give it a chance. Which maybe that's on me. Maybe if I watched it, I would like it. But it was so far away from what Resident Evil is, I didn't even care. So when it got canceled, I was like, good.
Yes.
Anyway.
Now, they did come out with that Resident Evil movie a year or two ago.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking about.
That's
what I'm thinking about.
Chris Redfield, Leon Kennedy, Claire.
But it looked like...
those characters were there, and they had smushed, I think, the first movie and the second movie together?
Something.
Or the second and the third.
Something.
They had smushed a couple of games together, y'all. It was a failure though. Not good.
No, it looked like an adult film. Like, hey, you want to see a certain kind of parody of the Resident Evil games in a movie form?
Mm-hmm.
So it just didn't look.
It's a shame, and apparently they really ruined Leon's character pretty bad.
They look like film. Look, I don't
mind the casting.
I'll make the joke that a lot of people did. They look like the Wish version of like the Resident Evil characters. They didn't look right. It didn't look. I don't know if I wanted like recognizable actors. Maybe it's just that the budget was so low.
It was a very low budget. There was
quite
a bit of B-listers in it,
and like maybe if like with the right budget they could have they could have made that work.
The liquors didn't look that great.
Oh, see, look, if you can't if you can't nail the liquor, don't even try.
Which I also was wondering, do they ever say the word zombie in any of these games, you guys? Let us know. I thought about this the other day. I was like, they're always like infected or whatever. But does anyone ever say the word zombie? I don't know.
I don't think so. What do they say? The infected, the Las Plagas. The insert whatever like disease or like new thing is infecting the people.
Right. So I'm not really sure.
Huh.
I'm not sure. T-virus. I don't know.
T-virus. Yeah. Huh.
I have no idea. But what we are very excited for, you guys, they did it. The Resident Evil 4 remake is coming out March 24th, 2023.
The year of the Lord.
Dear Lord Jesus, please keep me alive till then.
Yeah, you know what, baby? You're right.
This is one of those things where I'm like, just let me make it to March 24th, Lord. Let me make it.
Don't most people have that kind of thing? If they don't, you really should. I mean, or maybe that's our sad lives. But like, when something like comes up, whether it's a movie or whatever, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see that, to read that, to whatever. Please let me live.
Yes.
I haven't had that for a while.
I haven't had that for a while. I've had some Marvel movies back in the day.
Sure.
When they would announce, the round, here's what's coming.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh man, please just let me make it to Endgame,
Lord knows I gotta see Captain America fight Thanos. Oh
just let me make it to Endgame, Lord. Ooh, I just need to live for that long to make it. Then take me.
Was it worth it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it was worth it.
This is kind of that. Like, oh man, RE4 remake. A recent Capcom Resident Evil showcase. They showed some RE Village stuff. It's Resident Evil 8 RE Village. It was a game. There's a new third person thing. They showed some new DLC and some whatnot.
I'm excited for that.
It looks cool. We're gonna play it on stream, but. What the main thing people came for was RE4 remake, and they kind of delivered. They showed some more trailers, gameplay, story stuff. It looked good.
There's been a slow build for this because they gave us Resident Evil 2 remake. They gave us Resident Evil 3 remake, which had mixed reviews because they shortened the game. They took stuff out.
And I will stand here and say I hated that. Anyway, even though like when the game came out, it was full price. It was $59.99, $64. I refused to pay that. I don't know if you remember. I was
waited to buy that game.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not spending $64 on this.
Yeah, you did wait.
And I waited to buy it when it was what, 20, 30?
Yeah.
And even then, I was still like, this is a little bit of a, They didn't nail it. And after the RE3 remake came out, there was discussion of what should we do next, or what is Capcom going to do next? Are they going to do a Code Veronica remake? Are they going to do, I don't know, RE0? There was rumors about what game they would remake next, but a lot of people wanted RE4.
Of course,
that's
it's
the big
game
daddy.
Of all games.
That's the big one, and that's what I wanted because I don't I don't have a lot of reverence for the other ones. Even though I do love RE2 remake, I do love that game, but RE4 is the one that started it all when I was 14 years old. Anyway, and it's coming. It looked good. It gotta look good.
They got the roundhouse kicks, you guys, and really, I mean, truly, they got the roundhouse kicks, the merchants there. I mean, I feel like they hit all the major beats. We weren't asking for a lot to begin with. We were just reimagine the game.
Yeah.
You know, let us move when we shoot. We want to move, okay? But we also want a roundhouse kick. We want the bingo line. You know, there are things that we want.
There's a lot of classic elements that seem like they are keeping. The reveal showed most of the characters who were prominent in the original game. I'm trying to think, I just saw something on IGN and was reading an article. They were saying that the game is going to be the same length as the first one.
Wow.
Which I'm like, okay. I said earlier, it took me 40 hours. I don't think it's going to take me 40 hours to beat this time.
Yeah.
God help me if it does. But them saying that is pretty exciting, which it just alludes to pretty much all the moments that you think are in the game. They're in the game.
They're in there. Either that or they're putting brand new chunks.
Sure. Because the first house you go into in the first game was in the original RE4 is pretty small. You walk in, you turn a corner, there's an enemy, and he attacks you, and then it goes from there. Well, in the new trailer, little demo they showed, you go in the house, you turn a corner, then you go down into the basement, you turn another corner, you see a bunch of other stuff.
There's an upstairs.
There's upstairs and downstairs. Yeah, I mean, just that alone was a good tease for what's to come in terms of how they're going to switch up some of the environments. So I'm fully on board. March 24th, I believe you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Leon looks just as good as ever, you guys. Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
the swoop is still there. They did get rid of the swoop.
They didn't show any of the one-liners like the bingo line, but they did show Leon shoot like a little, flame, candle?
A lantern.
Lantern, thank you.
Yeah.
Some light source.
Some source of light.
Some magic of some sort. Shot a lantern. The lantern came down, landed on a little cow.
Poor cow.
In this little barn, minding his own business. The cow lit on fire and ran towards the quote-unquote zombies,
Yeah.
I mean, and then, oh, God, what was his line?
He goes, you can bill me for the damages later.
I'm like, damn, Leon, you had to kill a cow for that line.
I love him. He does what must be done.
It's we're counting days.
We are counting the days. I honestly don't even know if we have time to talk about the other games we wanted to talk about, you guys, because obviously we're very passionate about Resident Evil.
We'll talk about a few more spooky games, but we are most in love with the Resident Evil franchise, obviously. We play RE5 on stream. RE5 is a co-op game, so me and Erica played it together, and that was a fun time. That game, a lot of people didn't like it when it came out because it strayed a little too far.
It's very action-oriented.
It's a little too action.
It's too action.
People criticize RE4 for being a little too much in the action realm. It got rid of puzzles for the most part. It just wasn't. But the feel of RE4 was enough, and it had enough of the spooks, the scary moments in it that people still enjoyed it.
Yes.
But 5 was.
5 was straight up Terminator. Here we come, baby. Yeah, action renaissance. Let's go. We punching boulders tonight, boo.
Besides punching the boulders,
that's the game.
Especially back in the early 2000s and even the mid 2000s of video games, turret sequences where you are on a turret, a machine gun, shooting something. That is like a hallmark of those games in that era. Mm-hmm. And that Resident Evil had a few of those moments. RE5 had a few of those moments. But us playing it's a fun enough time, but the game started to stray away a little too much. RE6
from the roots,
yeah. RE6 was a game that a lot of people hated, including me. I didn't give the game a chance at all, mostly because when it came out, people crapped on it so hard that I was like, why would I play this?
Yeah.
It looks, people said it wasn't it was too long. There was too many characters. It was too convoluted. It was too it was, talk about action. It was like World War V, it was ridiculous in terms of what was going on.
Yeah.
Leon running from a nuke essentially.
Right.
It was stupid. But
I loved it.
That was my perception of the game when it came out, and whatever year it came out. I can't remember at this point.
I don't know.
But we played it, was it last year? I guess last year. We played it last year once again on stream. It was really fun.
I think just because we like each other.
I think, again, it was a co-op game.
It's co-op, and it's always fun to play with your friends.
Yeah.
So, and you're my ultimate friend. So I just was like, I'm having a really good time.
Yeah,
and I got to be Sheva, and she's a black girl, and I love that. Oh, no. But I still did have fun. I got to be, what's the girl's name in the 6th one? Do we remember her name?
In 6th? No, she was really generic.
Unspoken hero girl number whatever.
It didn't. Hold on, y'all. Let me give you a second. Okay, yeah, Sheva was the black girl in 5. In 5. In 6, whatever her name was, who cares?
We only played the Leon campaign.
Now to be clear, we only played Leon. Like you said, we only played Leon's campaign. Which
I
was
love
long
spinning
enough.
around and flipping and kicking people. I had a good time.
It was one of those things where like I think we said, oh, we'll go back to the 6, but just the nature of streaming, we were like, we'll switch it up. We'll come back to it one day, which we still may do. Like those other campaigns with Chris and I think, I don't want to say who the other character is just in case of spoilers, but it's another character who's good at punching and dodging and whatnot, who's also a character you play as. Yeah. And so there's potential to go back to those games, and maybe if we play those campaigns, we'll agree with other people being like, this game sucks, but it changed. RE6 changed so much of the game that I get why people didn't like it. But, stepping back from the year it came out and all the vitriolic hate from the game, when we played it, we had a good enough time. Right. I remember people were like, you're going to hate this game. And
people would come in the chat like, ew, you guys are playing this? And we're just giggling and shooting
we're having
stuff.
Fun.
Having a great time. And one chatter was like, well, this game ruined my marriage. Like, me and my
5
husband.
5 or 6?
Yeah.
I think you keep getting 5 mixed up with 6.
Maybe 5, but possibly 6 too.
Well, sure. Listen.
I think 5 was the one that they said ruined their marriage.
Listen, if 5 was a catalyst and 6 maybe pushed them over the edge, maybe.
Maybe.
But look, that's how those games, that's how divisive those games were. Yeah. Ruining relationships, It just, but I think it made ours stronger.
It did make ours. Anyway. We bonded. Bonded.
Y'all. So that's Resident Evil. Catch it. I recommend if you haven't played any of them, start with RE2 Remake. Not gonna lie, RE2 Remake is like more modern. If after RE2 Remake, if you want to punish yourself with a lesser version, play RE3 Remake. But really, play RE4. And if you can hold off, wait till March. Wait till March to play the remake. I'm sure some people will wag their fingers at you for never playing the original, but we won't. We say go ahead.
We don't wag fingers
and live your life.
No,
play
we
RE4.
Don't wag fingers.
But that's Resident Evil, y'all.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd go off on it as hard as we did.
We waxed poetic about it, yeah.
But obviously, it's worth the deep dive. It's a legacy game series. I mean, Capcom really, they did it. They really did it. People continuously keep coming back. They keep reinventing the series, bringing us old, hotness, but with fresh looks. I mean, they're doing everything right now for Resident Evil. They're doing all the things right.
Capcom is kind of back in full effect with a lot of their stuff between like Devil May Cry and Street Fighter. They're doing. I mean, Monster Hunter. Obviously, the Monster Hunter has been hidden. It's been good, but like Capcom is in prime position to. They are one of the bigger companies now, and like at least like the reverence that people have for Capcom is at all-time high, they were going. They went through a rough period with a bunch of games, and they were trying to figure themselves out. But for right now, they are doing really good.
They're one of those.
Enjoy a lot of their games.
They're one of those companies that seems to really listen to the fans.
Yes, which sometimes can be bad, but for the most part, it seems like they take what people say and they put their own little twist on it, and they just don't follow the fan base verbatim. They don't, but. They listen. They do listen. It seems like they do listen. Yes. Well, sometimes they may listen too much because RE7, we didn't talk about RE7. RE7 is considered one of the scarier games in the franchise. We played it on stream, y'all. Listen. You listening? We played it on stream. And 7 was maybe a little too scary for me. I've mentioned I'm a coward. I think this is the third time I've said it. It was very hard for me to get into the game because I was too afraid to play it. Yes. And I did enjoy it. And looking back on my time playing the game, I was like, man, it was good. I wish I wasn't as afraid to play it so it could have flowed better, Right. But because there were so many moments I was just like, I don't want to go in there. Yeah. I don't want to turn that corner.
Well, a lot of people felt the same way you did. A lot of people were very scared.
Listened.
And the reason they were scared, you guys, is because it's first person. And Resident Evil has done that before, but they were more with their light gun series that they were doing.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like it was third person, but then when you aimed, it was first person.
Right. Yeah. But so this was all you only saw your hands and. So that aspect of it was very, very creepy, made it extra creepy, and the setting and everything as well. And you're not really dealing with zombies, quote unquote, so much. It's more people that look normal, but of course things change. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty terrifying, and they course corrected.
They course a little too hard.
Because
like if you look at if you look at a trailer for 8 or something, RE Village, it looks like, oh, this is gonna be scary too. But when you play it, oh Lord, no. It really is.
After a while, it's it's not that scary.
You become numb to it.
At first, it's scary, but after a while,
because you're in a new environment, you're like, ooh, let me suss this out. But something about it, I just think because they made Ethan is the name of the main character. He sucks. He's terrible. But they made Ethan a little too capable in 8. He had more weapons. It just and like in 7, you had a pistol and they were like, good luck. Here's a pistol and a knife. You eventually got more weapons, but even when you did, I never felt like secure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I got this. But like RE Village, they try to make it a little like RE4 in terms of giving you a bunch of weapons, and you had this. You felt more capable, and it was a little more arcadey. It wasn't as like, oh, use your resources accordingly. You better run from this encounter.
Yeah.
No, it was like, hey,
hide or stuff like that.
No, it was like every enemy you see, you can kill, which is part of the reason why I've gone back to play some of the old ones. After playing 4 and RE2, I'll go back and play Resident Evil 1 Remake. And I struggle because every time I see something, I'm like, I have to kill that. I have to kill that. That's in my way. And, going from playing these over-the-shoulder cameras and a lot more action-y games, then going back and playing the original games like RE1, I'm just like, this is way too different. I'm relying too much on outside help, like people in our chat on Twitch being like, go here, do this. Because, like, the map isn't confusing. It's a good map. But just the layout is different, and the controls are back to the classic tank controls, and it's a lot for me to deal with. And I usually give up on those kind of games, which sucks because those are the classics. No quote unquote, those are the classics. I wish I could get into those kind of games. There's games like that and like Silent Hill. That's the reason why I haven't gotten to Silent Hill, because I picture myself having the same problems with those games, the puzzles and navigating the environment. I'm like, oh, this is going to be hard. But one day I'll do it. It'll be Silent Hill. It'll be the old Resident Evils. It'll be games like Haunting Grounds. I don't think you've heard of that game,
no.
But that's also like it's like a game where you're running and I think you can fight back a little bit, but it's in the vein of those games where I'm like, these are scary games and I bet you I'll like them. But I'm afraid that I'll play them horribly.
Oh, my goodness. Well, what I would say to that is these games are really great backseat gamer games.
Oh, yeah.
If you may be a little too scared to play them but are interested in them, nonetheless, they're really good games to just watch somebody play. Yeah. Because there is story, there is like, it's kind of, they're very cinematic from the get-go. That's how they were designed. To be a cinematic almost experience, and they just continue to be that, as the games in the older games in the series, it's more like watching a movie. So if anybody if you're interested and you've never played them, or you're like, oh, I'm too scared, they are a lot of fun to watch somebody play, if you're ever interested in that.
And like, don't think you're like, distracting the person who's playing or whatever. If you're a backseat gamer, the person playing wants you there. They want help. Like Erica said earlier, her friend called her for help. Like, just talk to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Listen. You sit with them, play the horror game. All you got to do is just sit there and go, ooh. And every once in a while, just encourage them to go around that dark corner.
You've got this. Yeah.
That's all you need sometimes.
Well, we were going to talk about the new Dead Space release that's coming out, but honestly,
talk about Resident Evil, yeah.
I think that we have time, but we are excited for the Dead Space remake. It is, it's not a successor in the way of like the same companies made it or anything, but there are a lot of influences.
Oh yeah,
there are a lot of influences from Resident Evil in the Dead Space series, which we absolutely love, and you guys should check it out. If it's the spooky season, if you're looking for a spooky game to watch someone play, or you want to pick up yourself, Dead Space is great.
Still holds up. Little Nightmares.
It's awesome. The Little Nightmare series is more horror light.
It's a puzzle platformer,
and it's a platformer.
Yeah.
You have no weapons or anything. You are just hiding and surviving.
You're navigating the environment.
Yeah.
You're this little thing, and you're just trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Really, it's about escaping.
It's about escaping. Beautiful, beautiful images. I love Little Nightmares
series. It's a very different game.
One of my favorite games. I love, and if I'm saying that, you guys, and like I'm saying, I'm not a big horror person. Little Nightmares is my jam. And we were going to talk about Subnautica, which is literally the scariest game we have ever played. Forget everything we literally have just said. Subnautica is the scariest game ever to us because we have thalassophobia, which is the fear of the ocean or whatever.
Yeah, I think we're saying that right. Yeah.
I think I'm saying it correctly. Let me know if I'm not. Anyway. Now that game scared the pants off of us so much so the first time we played it we never went in the water.
No, we went in the water.
We went in, would come back out. We go in and come back out.
We stayed in a very small circle that I knew was safe.
Right. Like we didn't do it a lot. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness.
It was so bad that people came to the stream.
They're not even doing anything.
Yes. And when we ended the stream, they were like, "You guys didn't even do anything." I felt so sorry. So sorry.
Listen. Those 10 people who came in and criticized us for not doing nothing. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm afraid.
That is a very scary game. And maybe we will deep dive into these games later in the future. But obviously today turned into a Resident Evil kind of podcast. And I'm really not mad about it, you guys. They really do deserve the hour-long chat because it's an amazing franchise that if you don't know, you do know, you know now. Yeah. But also check it out. Now, check it out if you've never played
You're welcome.
You are very much so welcome. And this is probably the last spooky episode.
The last purely spooky episode. I'm sure I'll watch a few horror films here and there, but we probably won't wax poetic about them.
Yes, we will be back to regular scheduled nonsense probably after this. More, we'll probably do some more holiday themed stuff. Come December,
Erica's making faces at me. I'm just like, what's happening?
Come December and November, knowing us because we enjoy our holidays over here.
I like how you put December first before November.
There's more content.
Okay, before December and November.
There's not a lot of Thanksgiving content.
Listen, guys, get ready for our 10-hour discussion about the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade.
Ooh. Why would I kind of enjoy that?
Oh my God!
What was the first float?
Well, you see, it all started. 1942.
Yeah, I'm kind of here for that.
Listen, there was a mammy flying in the air.
A mammy. Okay. All right.
Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to our Resident Evil discussion. And thanks for listening to this podcast. And, we appreciate y'all for being here.
We do appreciate
Episode 18, y'all. Catch it.
If you know anyone that enjoys podcasts, maybe share this with them. Yeah. Or someone that likes Resident Evil, share it with them, you guys.
Yeah.
And I guess they're going to get out of here. I need to carve a pumpkin. Like today, I'm fiending. I need to do this. Baby. It's got to happen.
I guess I'll help.
Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all check out our YouTube channel. We have one of those now.
Oh, we do have a YouTube channel of the same name, Barnard Babble.
.com/Barnard Babble.
Subscribe or whatever. And keep enjoying your spooky time. I hope everyone has a great Halloween. And we will catch you on the next one.
Leon, help!
Leon! Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard, check us out on Twitch at twitch.tv/Barnard Babble. That's BARNARD BABBLE.